So the frogs have grown pretty big and I fed them their last meal. They're ready to go. So in this video, we're going to be releasing the frogs back to the pond where I got them from when they were just spawned. Now, if you've been keeping frogs, you should always release them back to the pond where you got them from, if at all possible. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. Now, it's raining right now, so I can't take my camera outside, but as soon as it stops raining, I'm going to take them back to the pond and release them back into the wild, and we can watch them sort of disappear off where they're going to be spending the rest of their lives. So while we're waiting for it to stop raining, let's take a quick look back at this series and remind ourselves how they progressed from spawn through to the little frogs, how they are now. Welcome to the final episode of Frog Watch 2021. Spring came very late this year. The weather was cold and wet well into April. This had the effect of delaying many animals' emergence from hibernation and delayed the larval stages of many insects from developing. It felt like I'd been waiting for a long time to get going on this year's videos, so when I found frog spawn for the first time, it felt like I really could spring into action, hence this jokey opening from episode 1. Hello? Frog spawn? I'll be right there. This is it! Episode 1 was all about setting up the tank and collecting the frog spawn. Let me show you how the spawn I collected in the last episode developed into what you can see now. If we call day 1 the day the spawn was put into the tank, this is the spawn on day 3. You may be able to see some small amount of development. Some of the little black dots have begun to change into small comma-shaped embryos. Day 5 saw some of the first tadpoles to hatch out. They don't do much at this stage, they attach themselves to the jelly and wriggle occasionally. They will feed on the jelly for the next few days. By day 6, most of the tadpoles had hatched and the jelly was beginning to disappear. By day 8, most of the tadpoles had begun to swim freely around the tank, although they spent most of their time attached to the glass. Over the next 2 days, they start to explore their new environment a bit more freely, and now on day 15, they appear as you see them here. Episode 3 was feeding time for the tadpoles. These tadpoles must have been hungry, because almost before I'd finished putting the spinach in the tank, they started to swarm into a feeding frenzy. By episode 5, the frogs had gotten their back legs and needed different food. Episode 6 was where the first little frogs moved into the terrarium. I got one, that wasn't too bad actually. the frogs' favourite places to rest is on this small ledge right at the top of the tank. They also like to hang around on the back wall and amongst the leaves of the vine. It moves in for the kill. It strikes, but it misses and the cricket escapes. But it's not over yet. There's more movement off to the right. The frog moves into position. It strikes but comes up with nothing. It strikes again. This time the hunt is successful. Another frog has spotted movement and slowly moves into position. It judges the distance and launches itself, but the strike was unsuccessful. This frog has seen some movement and wastes no time in chasing it down. This time it catches its prey. In the fading light of the evening, we see another successful hunt. The frog is blocking our view, but we can tell it got a cricket. Okay, it has stopped raining, so I need to take the frogs down to the pond quickly before it starts raining again. Let's do this. Okay, making my way now to the pond. We're almost there. It's a little bit windy, so hopefully you can hear me okay, but if you've been following the channel for a little while, you may have noticed that I haven't really been putting out a huge amount of videos this year, in which I feel really bad about. But one of the reasons is I've been having a lot of back trouble, which means walking is really painful. So just walking the short distance from my car to the pond is actually incredibly painful, and actually carrying this camera out like this is not doing me any good whatsoever. I'm completely out of breath because I'm just in quite a lot of pain, which is one of the reasons I haven't really felt like I've been able to go down to nature reserves and do all that kind of wildlife filming that I would normally do, which I feel really bad about because it's something that I obviously love to do. I just haven't been able to do it. So I just thought I'd want to try and explain that really. But anyway, I've got my froggies and we're almost at the pond, so I'll meet you there. Well, here we are at the pond, just behind me here. If I remember rightly, I think this is exactly where I got the spawn from, just in this corner down here. I can't quite remember. There was a lot of spawn here. There was a whole load down the other side of the pond over there. So I'm going to release them here. This is actually where I released the frogs last year as well. So there's a lot of sort of undergrowth here. There's some lots of cover they can kind of go into to protect themselves. There's water there if they need it. Hopefully there'll be plenty of insect life around here which they'll be able to feed on. Hopefully you can hear me over the wind. But there's nothing else to do it except to release them now and say goodbye. So let's do that now. One of the hardest things about releasing the frogs is giving up control. Up until now, I've been able to protect them. I've kept them in an environment safe from predators and always made sure they had enough food. But now I can't do that. There's no guarantee that any of these frogs will survive. Will they be safe? Will they find food? I'll never know. I'll never see these frogs again, and that's always a sad thought. But you have to trust in nature and know that I've done the best I can. The rest is up to them. So I've just been sitting here just 3-4 minutes just watching the frogs move around, and within moments they've kind of moved into the undergrowth, moved into the grass, and even though they couldn't have moved far. I can see maybe two there. The rest have all kind of disappeared, but they're all still there. They're just really well camouflaged, hiding, and it just kind of goes to show that one of the things I say frequently in these videos is if you just stop and just take a look, you'll be really surprised at what you might find. And just someone just walking past, walking the dog, whatever, they won't know that I think there was about 16 frogs that I just released there, and that is the case everywhere, all around this place. There's going to be so much wildlife that it just doesn't want to be seen, and it's so difficult to actually find it. And it's one of the marvels of nature, and that you can just go somewhere and just look somewhere we hadn't thought about looking before, and you'll see something. And sometimes you'll see something amazing. One thing that made me really happy was seeing these frogs, moments after being released into this unfamiliar environment, beginning to hunt food. Several times I saw multiple frogs launch themselves at tiny bugs on the ground or on a blade of grass or a stick. If these frogs can immediately find food after what's been quite a traumatic morning for them, I can rest a bit easier and be confident they'll be okay. And that's all I can ask for. So yeah, I think it's time to say goodbye to the frogs now. Time to go home, pack up, put all my things away for another year. Maybe we'll do it again next year, I'm not sure now. This might be the last one for a while, but we'll see how it goes. I don't want to say anything now. But anyway, thank you for being along with this journey. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.